Welcome back to the Mind Compass, your 10-minute pit stop of mindset growth for stress management, anxiety relief, and personal development. Wada.
And g'day listeners, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet, and welcome to today's episode of the Mind Compass. Do you ever feel like your words aren't landing the way you intended? Great communication isn't just about what you say. It's about how your message makes other people feel. In this episode of the Mind Compass, we break down the art of persuasive, authentic communication, where influence meets emotional intelligence. You'll learn the tools to craft messages that stick, connect deeply, and inspire action. Whether you're leading a team, pitching an idea, parenting, or trying to be heard in your everyday life, this episode is your guide to speaking with impact and heart.
So today you will learn what makes communication memorable and persuasive. You'll learn how to engage both the head and the heart of your audience. You'll learn storytelling strategies that create emotional connection and trust. You'll learn emotional intelligence skills that elevate every conversation, and some lessons from people like Oprah Winfrey, Simon Sinek, and Barack Obama.
Have you ever left a meeting or a conversation and thought, why didn't they get it? Maybe you had 100% the right facts and a strong case. But here's the thing. Facts inform, emotions move. And today, we're going to explore so people actually listen. And most importantly, remember what you said.
Now, communication is connection first, right? And it's content second. So before people care about what you say, they need to feel that you actually care. And the most impactful communication begins with emotional connection through tone, presence, and authenticity. It is the eye contact before the message, the pause before the point, the body language. When you prioritize connection, you create safety and trust, the real foundation for influence. And as the saying goes, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Great communicators make people feel seen, not just informed. It's not just about relaying facts. It's about recognizing humanity. Great communicators tune in, not just for broadcast. They ask questions, listening really deeply and validating people's experiences. Think about Oprah. She doesn't just interview, she makes people feel, whether they're on the stage with her or in their audience, she makes people feel like they matter. When someone feels truly seen, they're more open to the message and more likely to act on it. It's leadership through empathy.
So I want you to think about how you combine clarity, empathy, and purpose. Because these three ingredients form the trifecta of transformational communication. Clarity ensures your message cuts through the noise, being simple, concise, and easy to grasp. Empathy makes your message land gently because it's wrapped in understanding and care. And purpose gives your message the weight. People know why it matters and why they should listen. And when you speak with all three, your words just don't inform, they inspire.
You shift from being a speaker to a beacon of light and a signal, a voice that truly resonates. Maya Angelou said, "They may forget what you said, but they'll never, ever forget how you made them feel." Next up, we're going to look at influence through emotional intelligence. Influence isn't force, it's alignment. True influence doesn't come from pushing, persuading, or overpowering. It comes from aligning. When you align your message with someone else's values, emotions, or needs, you create movement without resistance. Think of influence like sailing. You can't force the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Great communicators influence by understanding others' internal compass and guiding them, not dragging them. That's not manipulation. It's mastery. When you're guiding them and not dragging them.
And so you can also use emotional intelligence to read the room, adapt your delivery, and meet people where they are. Emotional intelligence is your superpower in communication. It helps you sense what's not being said, Notice the body language, tone, and energy shifts and adjust in real time. And that's always been one of the challenges through, with COVID, when we're all doing Teams meetings and presentations, to actually read the room. It was really difficult because you weren't in the room with them. So you couldn't see people's body language. You really couldn't read their tones as much as when you're actually sitting in the room with them. It's about tuning in to the emotional frequency of others and adapting your delivery to connect, not just convey. Meeting people where they are builds rapport, trust, and buy-in. Whether you're presenting to a boardroom or mentoring a team member, EQ helps you lead with attunement.
Here are 3 simple EQ tips for you to take away. Number 1, listen more than you speak. Active listening builds connection. Most people listen to reply. Great communicators listen to understand. Silence isn't a gap. It's a powerful tool that invites honesty, insight, and engagement. As Stephen Covey said, it's one of Mick's favourite sayings, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Second tip is to match the tone and energy. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Mirror the emotional tone of the room to build immediate rapport. Calm spaces call for gentleness. High energy rooms need enthusiasm. Matching your tone shows empathy and presence, and it says, I get you. The third one is stay curious, not reactive. Curiosity is the antidote to defensiveness. When emotions rise, don't rush to judgment. Ask questions instead. Respond with, tell me more or help me understand, rather than reacting impulsively. This creates the all-important psychological safety, diffuses tension, and deepens trust. Communication is not about speaking, it's about listening and understanding, says the wise Simon Sinek.
And then there's the power of storytelling, because stories are sticky. And in my long career selling, it's all about telling stories. Facts inform, but stories transform. And why is that? Because our brains are wired for narrative. Neuroscience shows that when we hear a story, our brains light up. We process the events as if we're experiencing them ourselves. Stories create emotional resonance, not just intellectual understanding. They bypass logic and go straight to the heart. Sure, we can all present people with data, or we can share a moment that mattered. And that's what people remember. Because as Brené Brown said, stories are just data with a soul.
So to make storytelling easy and impactful, we're going to share a 3-part structure. Part 1 is the setup. What was the challenge? Set the stage. Introduce the person, either yourself or another, the context and the tension. What wasn't working? What stakes were involved? This hooks your audience and invites them into the experience. Keep it relatable and keep it real. Step 2 is the struggle. What went wrong? This is where the emotion lies. Share the missteps, the doubts, frustrations, or fears. It's never about perfection. It's about honesty. People don't connect to a polished version of you. They connect to the parts that reflect their own challenges. And step 3 is the shift. What did you learn? Here's the turning point. What insight emerged? What changed? How did the struggle lead to a breakthrough? This is your audience's takeaway. This is the lesson that they can take away and apply to their life.
So make it human, not heroic. The best stories don't spotlight your greatness. They reveal your growth. Be real. Be vulnerable. The goal isn't to impress. The goal is to connect. And when you tell a story where you got it wrong, then learn something that made things better, that is absolute gold. That's gems. It's not about being the hero, it's about being human. And that's where your audience sees themselves. That's where transformation begins.
Think of Steve Jobs or our friend Oprah again. They don't just inform, they move. So speaking with structure and soul, how do you do that? Well, you use the what, so what, now what model.
And a good mate of mine, Sean Alexander, I'm calling you out, mate. You use this all the time.
It's a simple and really effective framework for clear, purpose-driven communication. Whether you're giving a presentation, running a meeting, or sharing an idea with your team or your mates, this model helps you to get to the point without losing the point. So start with what, which is the message. Start with clarity. What's the core idea, insight, or observation that you're sharing? State it simply, avoid rambling. Think of this as your headline moment. It's the, what are we talking about? For example, here's a work one. We've had a 30% increase in customer complaints in the last quarter.
So what? Why does it matter? Well, this is where you connect the message to the meaning. Why should they care? What impact does this have on the team, the client, the mission, or the outcome? This is the emotional or strategic hook. For example, this is a signal that trust is breaking down, and if we don't act, we're losing our most loyal customer.
And thirdly is the now what they can do. End with action. What's next? What should your audience do, think about, or explore? And this turns the communication into momentum. So for an example, let's workshop our top 5 client touch points today and rebuild a trust-first experience together. This structure brings focus and flow because people don't just want information. They want direction.
Let's look at how authenticity equals relatability. So drop the jargon and just be real. Jargon creates distance. Authenticity creates connection. And when you use plain language, share real experiences, and speak like a human, you become more trustworthy and influential. Because people can spot inauthenticity a mile away, and they tune out when it shows up. We've all been there and we've all seen that. So instead of trying to sound impressive, try to sound genuine. It's not about perfect phrasing. It's not about all the right language. It's about meaningful presence. And as Simon Sinek puts it, people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. And your why is most powerful when it actually sounds like you.
And then there's the magic of using pauses, using silence, and letting your words breathe. Silence is a super tool. It's not a threat. In this noisy, fast-paced world, a well-placed pause has immense power. It gives your message space to land. It lets people feel the words, not just hear them, and it signals confidence, never nervousness. Think of great speakers, Barack Obama, Brené Brown, or even some of the top TED Talk presenters. They don't rush. They own the silence. My dad was a master at this. He listened like a guru. And then after a really long, deep, thoughtful silence, he would provide a clear, wise response. Talk about powerful words. Remember, a pause emphasizes the importance. It gives people time to reflect. It creates anticipation and gravitas. Your words matter more when they're not in a hurry. So the next time you speak, say less and let the words echo.
Couldn't agree with you more about your dad. He was amazing. So Barack Obama summed it up beautifully. He said the most powerful tool we have is our voice, but its power grows when it reflects truth and purpose. So you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the most powerful. Speak with clarity, lead with empathy, and back it all up with a story that resonates.
And that's how you influence, how you impact. And that is how you speak so that people will truly listen.
If this episode helped you rethink how you communicate, please share it with someone who's finding their voice. And don't forget to subscribe to the Mind Compass for your weekly boost of mindset, clarity, and confidence.
Until next time, love and blessings.
See ya.